Welcome to the German Perspective, where we pick news from German sources about American politics. Today's topic: fear of violence looms over upcoming U.S. elections. A nation on edge. The memories of January 6, 2021 are still vivid. Supporters of then U.S. President Donald Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol, resulting in deaths and injuries. The election campaign had already seen incidents of violence, and tensions escalated as Election Day approached, with voters facing threats. This November, the U.S. will hold its next presidential election, and a recent survey indicates significant concern about new violence. So far, the confrontations between the main candidates, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, have been mostly rhetorical. However, a survey by Bloomberg and Morning Consult raises alarms. Half of the voters in the crucial swing states fear violent conflicts when the results come in. Conducted from May 7 to 13, the survey included 4,960 registered voters in 7 swing states, with a margin of error of plus or minus 1 percentage point. The fear of new outbreaks of violence before, during, and after the election is equally distributed among Republican and Democratic voters, with independent voters even more worried. Reasons cited include threats against campaigners and clashes at American universities following occupations by pro-Palestinian activists. Social media plays a significant role in the heated political climate in the U.S. In March, scientists and former tech company employees met to discuss how platforms like Meta, Facebook's parent company, TikTok, and X can prepare against propaganda and calls for violence. The Washington Post reports that 7 recommendations have been made. 1. Be prepared for threats and violence. 2. Establish rules to address threats. 3. Abolish exceptions for key politicians and influencers. 4. Allocate resources to manage a surge in posts. 5. Ensure transparency in content moderation. 6. Collaborate with researchers and activists. 7. Develop industry standards. Implementing these recommendations remains uncertain. A Meta spokesperson told the U.S. newspaper that the company has been addressing these issues year-round, employing about 40,000 security personnel worldwide, more than in 2020. Meta also has hundreds of staff focusing on combating dangerous organizations and has removed thousands of pages of armed groups. TikTok highlighted its existing election-related post rules, which exceed the new suggestions. Concerns from experts who presented the recommendations are justified. Early May, the U.S. magazine Wired reported on approximately 100 Facebook groups coordinated by militant militias in the U.S., often using logos of weapons and military gear. These groups aim to facilitate local organization, state by state and district by district. Their goals are vague, but many posts convey a sense of urgency about preparing for a war or rising against perceived enemies, Wired reports. A study by Stanford University on post-2020 election violence shows that incidents began even before the elections, with tensions gradually rising. A month before the election, there were initial threats against poll workers, and Republican supporters appeared with flags at a polling station on Election Day. Trump had called on his supporters to go to polling stations and watch them closely. The lies about supposed election fraud in 2020 continued to be spread by Trump supporters and Trump himself, potentially setting the stage for new campaigns. Allowing people to lie about past elections creates the conditions for claiming that future elections will be stolen, said Daniel Kreis, co-author of the Social Network Recommendations Report and senior researcher at the Center for Information Technology and Public Life at the University of North Carolina. To the Washington Post, early signs of threats are already emerging. In March alone, 20 people in the U.S. were charged with threat. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more updates. See you next time.